And here we go, and my second device. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Ann Martin-Frey here, founder and CEO of Homeless to Independence, Inc. And this is an emergency broadcast. As I'm sure everybody knows what's going on in the North Carolina, Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee area, as well as huge in strength Hurricane Milton out in the Gulf of Mexico, headed for the Gulf Coast of Central Florida. This is an emergency broadcast. So first I want to touch on things as far as Hurricane Helene with North Carolina and Tennessee. From what the word I am receiving, the official word I am receiving, similar to Katrina, families and individuals are going to be being transplanted throughout the United States. I don't know the time frame. This is something that was instrumental with the recovery efforts of Katrina. Homeless to Independence and myself were instrumental with the families that were transplanted in Perth Amboy. We actually did receive a beautiful award from the NAACP for our work that we did. And let me touch briefly on the work that we did do. I ran job fairs. I brought realtors together. We had cars donated that the donor and myself in the middle and the receiving party sign off, handed it right to. There was no third party, and people got the transportation that they needed. And by the time, clothing, of course, and all that great other stuff that comes along with recovery efforts of that type. And by the time FEMA cut them from FEMA cut them from housing, and then HUD cut them from housing, they had a cute little nest egg, and they were ready to get into regular housing. Because the housing they had put them in Perth Amboy was slated for demolition, and they utilized that housing back then until everybody got all squared away. So I don't know where these families are going to be individuals are going to be transplanted into. This is kind of a heads up to the grassroots NGOs that primarily don't get grant funding, but we still do so much, okay? Yeah, so that's a heads up on that. The other thing I want to bring up also, no matter, and this goes for everybody everywhere, remember, please remember that if you have a camper or an RV, that runs off your propane. So if you have an RV or a camper, make sure especially with this storm Milton coming in, if you're going to be on the outskirts of the affected area and you do lose power, please remember that you can utilize your utilities from your camper or your RV, okay, and still use your refrigerator and freezer. Make sure you have your propane tanks filled, okay. As far as Milton is concerned, from what we see, it's bouncing back and forth between a Cat 4 and a Cat 5, going back and forth. Slated at this point in time somewhere around Sarasota to Tampa. You have to watch the timing, everybody. Get a hold of the high tide and low tide charts. Just Google it, okay, and it's going to come up. Initially, when they said that they were looking at Tampa Bay, I'm going back 2-3 days now. The first thing I did was look at the tide chart because they were saying around 6 a.m. in the morning. And of course, I Googled the tide charts for Florida West Coast, and it stated at that time that Tampa Bay's high tide was at 5:11 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Okay, so of course, I'm trying to get it out there. You have to watch the tides. It's also gonna, as far as the surge coming in, I know I'm very familiar with that area, the Alafai River. Back in the late 1980s, I lived in that area, and we did do some great bass fishing on the Alafai. So, like I said, I'm familiar with that area for the most part. Yeah, so that's the thing, to watch. And I'm not accredited, and I don't have no pedigree paperwork, but I've been a weather geek since knee high to a grasshopper. And not doesn't mean I know more than anybody or less than anybody else. I pay a lot of attention. The person to watch, there's two people actually. The main person to watch on YouTube, his name is Reed Timmer. Reed, Reed Timmer. He is accredited. In fact, from what I understand, there's somebody that is passing some kind of scientific equipment that he's going to be down in that greater Tampa Bay area, and he's going to be administering the testing of, or not doing the test, but he's putting the scientific equipment in that area so they can, capture even more information to all that technical stuff. One other person I want to mention is Evan Freiberger. EVAN Freiberger, Fryberger, also on YouTube. Another really good person to follow. Reed is going to be on the ground there live. He does that with just about all the storms. He and his team, which are fantastic. I always do my best to get their word out and to share their links and everything, but go ahead and get on YouTube and subscribe to both Reed Timmer and Evan Freiberger. And again, I want to mention to everybody, if you have an RV or a camper, that your refrigerated unit runs off of the propane. So along with the generator, in order to keep your lights up and running so that you don't dwindle on your batteries, I know you have the power converter and all that. You should have a generator also. And another thing, the people that are going to be evacuating, if you are north of the area that is going to be hit, folks, if you have a camper, please, if you can, please let somebody use your camper. Please let them use your camper at the least. A camper, RV. Nobody deserves to be out and stranded. It's like one of the most horrible, heartbreaking situations. I'm trying to think of what else. So I'm putting all the nonprofits, grassroots nonprofits, on notice. Please, if there's anything that Homeless to Independence can help you with, as far as in-kind donations, I have wonderful donors, and we can ship right to you so you can help distribute. Okay, so keep in touch with me. My email will be down below. If you happen to call the office number, I'm in and out all the time during the week. If you call our office number, which will also be down below, make sure you leave a message, because then it gets sent to my email, and then I will not lose. But if you just hang up, I don't get no message. Okay, folks? So that's it in a nutshell. And yeah, God bless. God bless everyone. May everybody be in God's hands. And all the best, folks. All the best. And we just give our best. All right? Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye now. And thank you for supporting Homeless to Independence and the people we serve. Bye-bye now.